All right, check it out. So, Corona, right? Can't get out of the house too often. Ski hills are crazy like this. I'll put that back in there. And hey, but I wanted to get something out. So, and I've got this crazy machine, right? This thing. So anyway, that's set up here in the old training den, and we're gonna go over a little bit of pole usage, right? So I can show you kind of the basics on the machine, and we're just gonna talk about a few things. We'll see how it goes. I also don't know how loud it's gonna be from over there with the machine, so hopefully this works out okay. Everybody thinks they need poles. I gotta have my poles. I gotta have my poles. No, you don't. You don't need poles. You could use poles. They're very convenient. They're fun to have, but you don't need them. Let me just show you real quick. All right, here we go. So on the machine, no poles, right? If you get your hands out front, you can go side to side. You don't need poles. Here you go. You just don't need them. It's more about the motion of your body and less about, you know, leaning on the pole for like, oh. If you're leaning on your poles, you need to focus on your technique more, right? So you need to be able to, now this is an exaggerated specific thing because of this machine, okay? But, you know, a wedge Christie, like a basic wedge pizza french fries, right? The more you get used to the motions that you need to have, the easier it is without the poles. And you don't need the poles to get to the point where you're comfortable. So, that being said, if you're side slipping down the hill and you keep leaning on this pole, or that's one thing, but you know, unless you're making your pole touch to initiate your turn, okay? So, pole touch, and you're gonna initiate your turn around it. Unless you're doing that, you can really focus more on a couple things. One, keep your hands out, right? What I like to tell the kids is imagine you're holding a hot chocolate, right? You just at the top of the hill, you got a hot chocolate for your ma. You're gonna ski it down to her. You don't want to spill, right? You keep it out here. And, you know, with young ones, it doesn't always work out. So the thing I'll do is give them my glove to hold on to. So you're like, hold on to this with both hands. And if nothing else, sometimes they come back and they bring it back, but at least their hands are together and you can remind them to keep them out, right? Give them something to hold on to. Like if you got like an old Wii steering wheel, you give them that, have them turn which direction they're going. That works good. Okay, but the basics, right? So get your feet shoulder width apart. Keep yourself where you want to go, and keep your hands out front. That's more important than having your poles, right? The other thing that can be a problem with poles is, okay, you're skiing along and you're not too sure, and you're kind of nervous, and you start doing this to slow down. Well, if something goes wrong, you get a pole right in the gut, and believe me, it's not fun. Not fun at all. So that's something too. But the point of your pole, right? The most important thing you could be doing with your pole. Okay, so you come in. It's a great tool, like I said earlier, to initiate your turn. So pole plant as you come in to initiate your turn around it. I wish I wish I could get out on the hill and do this, and I will. It isn't happening today. The lines were just too crazy and I didn't feel great about it. So anyway, remember, keep your hands forward, look where you want to go. Once you kind of get to the point where you're making your turns nicely in a wedge and things are going fairly smoothly, you can move on to the next thing. Maybe you are coming in your wedge and you're making some nice C-shaped turns. The next thing you could do is, so you're coming in from your wedge And as you enter your turn, you can pick up your inside foot, right? So the foot that you're turning around, essentially, right? So let me see if I can do this in a way that'll show up. So if I'm gonna go left, right? As I start my turn out of my wedge, you can pick up, that's extreme. You can pick up your foot and bring it in. So you're coming in a wedge, you pick it up, you put it in, and you keep going. And that's gonna get you going more towards a constant parallel linked turn. That's a great next step. And then once you kind of get where you pick that up and you're starting to do a basic link from a left turn to a right turn, then you could start focusing on that, trying to incorporate your pole plant around to your next turn, pole plant around to your next turn. So there you go. What else is going on? I've been seeing a bunch of guys on the internet asking questions about bases. So I'm gonna grab a base real quick and we're just gonna talk about that for just a minute here. All right, so first of all, this is like a super old-timey K2. This actually was marketed as a telemark specific ski. This one has an NTN binder with brakes. Not a huge deal, but I got a wicked good deal on it. And the base looks like absolute trash. So let's see if we can do this in a way. So as you can see, so there's a ton of wax. See that? See that gouge there? You know? And right here. See that? This is a very, very worn out base. It's got a lot of wax on it. You can see there. The edges are decent, but it's banged up. And now this ski, here's a huge chunk out, you know. And the question often is, you know, do I need to get this fixed? And the answer is maybe. How much? Well, here's another chunk out. So the answer is maybe. Look at this thing. Most people, honest to God, most people aren't going to notice the mild change in the ski from something like that. The thing is to do it, to have it done right, to P-Tex this is sort of a challenge. You've got to get it nice and clean and prepped just right. Then you put the P-Tex in. Then you got to shave it back down flush with the rest of the ski. And so the best way often to go about doing that is to just, you know, if you don't do it often, is the best way to go about it is to take it to a shop. It is a little bit expensive, but if they do it right, they'll clean up the base, they'll patch the base, they'll stone grind it, they'll tune the whole ski up, the pair of skis, obviously, and then give it back to you prepped and ready to go. Around here in Minneapolis, I think that's probably, for that whole deal, you might spend $100. So depending on what you spend on the skis, now I think I got these skis for like a stupid like $40 or something, because I just plan on using them just kind of around. You know, if the snow's no good or I hit a rock, I'm not going to worry about these skis at all, other than it's a great ski. It's a fun ski to play with, so that's the only reason I picked them up. They're super old though. I think they're from like the early 2000s. But hey, this binder, not from the early 2000s. Anyway, so there you go. A little bit of base damage like this, not necessarily the end of the world. If you see if you see the core through it, you have a much larger problem. And that does need to get to a shop to get fixed, because if water gets into the core, then your skis are toast. It'll all start to come apart. No amount of saving it is happening then. So if you can see the core, you know, crazy. I don't know what you hit, a big rock, or if your edges are blowing out or something. I don't know. Anyway, if you have pictures or something, drop it in the comments. Let's talk about it. Otherwise, hit that subscribe button, and we're still sending out t-shirts to you know, I don't know, I haven't decided. So hit the subscribe button, we'll get you a t-shirt. Low altitude training team, and let's get this thing growing. Anyway, thanks for watching. Tell your friends. Catch you next week.
Make sure you like and subscribe and follow.